What is going on, boys? LucidFX here. Long time no see. I know I haven't been posting a whole lot on YouTube. That's just really due to the fact that I've been focusing on Discord and Twitter and then improving my own trading. Trying to get back into the groove of YouTube videos because I really enjoy making them. But I'm gonna make up for all the lost time with this video right here. It's gonna be a fucking nice video. And really what we're going to be talking about is the head and shoulders pattern, how I'm personally trading it. It's not the traditional way. There's a lot of people that just trade it as a reversal pattern, and you definitely can trade it that way. It definitely does work out like that, but what we're going to be focusing on is actually head and shoulders continuation, and what I look for. It's basically just a head and shoulders fake out, but in order to differentiate the two, whether it's going to be a reversal or a continuation, we're really going to want to be focusing on these three things on the screen right here, which are time frame, timing, and context. So we're going to go deeper into that later. We're not going to get too deep into it right away, but just keep in mind that this pattern can work out two separate ways. You just really want to be watching these three things to decide which way it's going to work out, okay? So let's just hop right into this shit. Alrighty, so this is just the basic head and shoulders. You see these on a lot of influencer pages saying this is a reversal pattern, short this if you see this shit. And really, I don't completely agree with that. I brought up in my live stream that I don't trade head and shoulders the same way that a lot of people do, and I really don't see a lot of people trade head and shoulders like this at all. But basically, all I'm looking for is a neckline, okay, just a nice little neckline. And really, a neckline can really be defined as 3 points. You don't really need the fourth point to be exact. And it's never going to be this pretty, okay? This is a pretty, it's just a diagram. I just want you guys to get what I'm looking for. So I want to see a nice aggressive move under the neckline, all right? And ideally I want to enter under the neckline, but you don't always get that opportunity. Sometimes you can enter just above it. You can enter on a retest of the neckline. It really doesn't matter. You just want to be entering somewhere in this area right here, okay? And stops are going to differentiate on the situation. It's whatever. So I want to enter under the neckline, and I want to target the head. Ideally, this is just a perfect scenario right here. Realistically, in the market, you're not gonna get something as pretty. Your shoulders are gonna be off, but basically just really look for the neckline points, okay? You want to see a set of somewhat clean lows so that price can raid under, okay? It's gonna be choppier, obviously, in a real market environment, and we're gonna look at some real-time example, well, not real-time, cherry-picked examples that actually happened. And I did catch one of the move on NZD, but we'll get into that later. Sorry, I'm ranting. But again, what I'm looking for, same thing. Just a nice move under, and I ideally want to enter underneath the lows and then target the head, and then same way if it's an inverse head and shoulders, all right? And do not be disappointed if you don't catch it under the lows. Like I don't always catch it under the lows either. Sometimes I like to see it prove to me that it wants to reject. From my other videos, you've seen that, and then I can enter like somewhere over here, something like that. It's not always going to be perfect. Alright, so that seems pretty simple, right? So all we're really looking for is just a nice little fucking raid underneath the neckline and then target the head. Alright? And again, it's all about the timing, the time frame, and the context, right? So you're just really gonna be wanting to pay attention to those three things. So, okay, so this is a high time frame head and shoulders, alright? And again, it's not the prettiest, but it is a head and shoulders. You see the shoulder here, head here, shoulder here, and you actually see another shoulder, head, shoulder here. I have that on the next slide. But here's the neckline. Here's the neckline raid. Ideally, not everybody's going to be able to enter on this, and that's perfectly fucking fine. Ideally, I want to see a news event shoot this above the neckline. All right, I want the raid to be during a session that Aussie is volatile. All right, I don't want to see this happen during some dog shit session that Aussie doesn't really move. All right, and we don't want to see it trickle above it either. We want to see it move aggressively and then come back below it, and we can enter below it or we can enter above it. We're not always going to catch it though. All right. And here is the other, it's just a smaller head and shoulders within the bigger one. So here's our shoulder, here's our head, here's our shoulder, neckline, right above the neckline, and then you see us just fucking fall through. And you actually, I don't know if you guys remember calling this in the Discord. I'm pretty sure it's on Twitter too. But I had this falling down towards this head. I didn't expect it to fall this far, but it ended up doing that. So pretty simple stuff. I mean, it's nothing. It's always, in theory, it always seems simple until you get into a real time environment, and this is gonna take a shit ton of practice. It just is what it is. So here again, this is USD Japanese yen. So here's our shoulder, head, shoulder. Not the prettiest again, but you can still see the structure, right? This is an inverse head and shoulders, and a lot of people are going to be seeing this as, okay, it's going to fly this way as a head and shoulders. But what I'm looking for is the neckline raid, and again, we don't have to enter above here. And then I just want to enter short and put my stop 20 pips away, whatever you really want to use. It doesn't matter that much. So, and it does just that. It falls through, and we want to target the low of the head here. Falls right through beautifully. And a lot of times when you see formations like this, when price takes this long to form a formation like this, you can expect the result to be kind of explosive, okay? That's why I like trading it so much. But you really have to be patient with this, right? And again, this is a 4-hour chart, so this shit's going to take time to play out. It's going to require quite a bit of patience, and that's something I also need to work on. It's something we should all work on, really. So that is that. Now, here is an example of just a traditional, alright? So NZDUSD, NZDUSD Kiwi, we had bullish COT data, and I'm calling for higher prices now too, and it's playing out really well. You can go check that out on the Twitter. I called it a while ago. But here's our shoulders, our head, and our shoulders. But notice how the head actually raids a 4-hour low. Alright, so it raids a low of September. So we aren't really wanting to be short on this, alright? I mean, we could, if we played these two highs right here, we could actually enter short on this intermediate raid and then target somewhere lower, and you could actually play that pretty nicely. But I don't know if you guys remember this either, but I actually caught this move I entered like right here just before this explosive candle, and I caught this whole move up. You can go check that on Twitter if you don't fucking believe me, but I remember catching that. It was actually hella nice. But yeah, this is why I'm saying you really have to watch out for those three things. This is really context, all right? So we had bullish COT data. So our context is bullish. So I'm not really looking for short entries. And when we see a head and shoulders raid and a high time frame low, we're not really wanting to be looking for shorts, all right? And all this really is just a retest of a rated low. And then it inevitably just shoots up higher, all right? So this is why you just want to really focus on those three things I had at the beginning of the video. So it's nothing too crazy, all right? This shit's not, trading doesn't need to be difficult. People just tend to make it more difficult than it actually is, and it ends up fucking, just keep it simple, stay patient, and you should be able to make some decent money. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Just go look back in the charts, try this shit out, practice, take some notes, all that good shit. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.